Russia has been accused of committing war crimes against Ukraine, and some have called Putin a war criminal.
Oh, I think he is a war criminal.
But what is a war crime?
Like any crime, they involve breaking the law, because even war has rules, and they're set out in international law and treaties.
International humanitarian law says what can and can't be done during war. It aims to save lives and reduce suffering. There are three main principles. The first is distinction. That's distinguishing between civilians and armed combatants. Civilians and civilian objects must never be attacked. Second is proportionality. This is weighing up the military advantage of an attack with incidental civilian deaths, injury and damage to civilian objects. And finally, there is precaution. This is taking constant care to spare civilians during attacks. The Geneva Conventions and their protocols are the main basis for international humanitarian law. The convention was first signed in 1947 after the atrocities of World War II and the Nuremberg trials, and has been ratified by 196 countries. There are 4 conventions relating to wounded and sick soldiers during conflict, war at sea, prisoners of war and civilians. Certain grave breaches of the conventions always constitute war crimes.
Both states and individuals can be held responsible for war crimes.
The International Criminal Court, or the ICC, investigates and tries people charged with genocide, war crimes, crimes against humanity and the crime of aggression. It sits in The Hague in the Netherlands and has indicted 45 individuals since it began operating in 2002. A handful of countries don't recognise the ICC, including Russia, the US and China. Members of the ICC could have to imprison convicted persons, and that includes the UK. Radovan Karadzic, who was convicted of genocide in Bosnia, and Charles Taylor, who was convicted of war crimes in Sierra Leone, have both served their sentence in the UK.
Prosecutors, humanitarian lawyers, journalists and civilian activists have all been gathering evidence of alleged war crimes in Ukraine.
Ukraine, in my view, clearly has strong evidence of the most serious war crimes and probably crimes against humanity.
The ICC is among those who have sent a team to investigate. To issue an arrest warrant, prosecutors need to prove reasonable grounds to believe that war crimes were committed.
What we look for in cases such as these, where you're looking at shelling, rocketing, aerial attacks and so forth, is we tend not to focus on a specific incident. We're looking at patterns. The key is, somewhat paradoxically, it's not, say, footage from the crime scenes. We're actually looking for material generated by the attacking force.
And many, including government ministers, have said there are clear evidence of war crimes happening.
It's a war crime because under international law, you cannot attack health facilities, hospitals.
What you see on your TV screens is a war crime.
Yes, so the targeting of civilians or civilian infrastructure is a war crime.
International law requires special protection for nuclear facilities, and it is difficult to see how Russia's actions were compatible with its commitments under Article 56 of the Additional Protocol of the Geneva Conventions.
Since its inception, the ICC has overseen 30 cases, and in the past, separate tribunals have also investigated war crimes. For example, in 1993, the UN created a separate International Criminal Tribunal.
The International Tribunal for the former Yugoslavia is now in session
to examine alleged crimes that took place during the Balkan Wars. Russia has denied all claims of civilian targeting and describes the invasion as a special operation.
I don't think we're committing war crimes in Ukraine, of course.
Are you saying that civilian homes, playgrounds, hospitals, theatres have not been targeted by Russia in Mariupol?
They were not targeted. And you know it very well. We said from the very beginning that our military is not the threat for civilian population in Ukraine.
From gathering evidence to attempting to secure a conviction, a trial would be lengthy and complex. For Putin to be prosecuted for war crimes, the ICC would have to prove he was responsible for them. Putin would have to be arrested too, which could be very difficult as he's unlikely to leave Russia anytime soon. Without Russia's cooperation, bringing other defendants to trial would also be difficult.